Hello guys, for today's video I'm sharing with you 6 tips you can follow in order to get yourself ready for the new school year. Maybe as a new teacher you are obsessed over everything. You keep thinking on how to draw a perfect lesson plan and how to have a perfect classroom setup. Your mind is obsessed about lots of things. Worry no more because today's video seeks to address this issue. Sit tight and continue watching. Welcome back. Please hit the like button, follow my page, and of course subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so. As a new teacher, the first tip you have to consider before the start of a school year is for you to come up with your class rules and regulation. Kids feel safer when they understand their limitation. Therefore, it's important for you to come up with certain rules that you like your kids to follow. For example, raise your hand to speak. Speak one at a time. Seek for permission before going out and entering the classroom. These are all examples of rules that you can put in place. Another one may be like respect your teachers and friends. It's up to you. Decide on the rules that you think work best for your classroom. But mind you, do not write down complicated rules. Keep it short and simple. And perhaps write these rules on your whiteboard, perhaps at the right hand corner of the whiteboard. Next, you have to set up your classroom routines. This one is very important because classroom routines serve like a map that guides your lesson. Classroom routine here, you are looking at the structure of your lesson. For example, maybe you like to start a lesson with a warm-up activity. And again, it equally tells the expectation of kids. Like when you set the routine, kids know what is expected of them. They equally know how you begin a class, what you do within the class session, and what they are expected to do at the end of the class. So your classroom routine will help a lot. By the way, I'd like to know from you experienced teachers, what teaching tips can you share with new teachers on how to plan for the new school year? Please go to the comment section and share your ideas. The next point you have to have in mind is for you to set up your classroom procedures. Classroom procedures here refers to the way you expect your kids to behave, like what they can do and how they can do these things. For example, if a kid needs to sharpen his or her pencil, you have to decide on a format in doing that. Like maybe the student has to stand up and seek for permission to sharpen his or her pencil. If a kid needs to go out, you have to let the class understand when exactly they are expected to seek for permission to exit the classroom. This is known as classroom procedures. When you do this, it provides structure to your class and your lessons wouldn't be interrupted. But if you fail to do this, your kids might end up adapting their own style of behaving. Like this is very common in cases where students sneak out of the classroom when you're teaching. All these type of behaviors occur when you fail to set up a class room procedure. So please have this point in mind and try to come up with classroom procedures. And the next point that you also have to think of is for you to do a lot of shopping on classroom supplies. I'm not sure where you're working, but for other schools, excuse me, I'm not sure where you're working, but with other schools, they do refund the expenses of teacher when they buy classroom supplies. So if you are fortunate to be in a school where they refund the money which teachers have spent on classroom supplies, then buy a lot of materials that you need and simply take the receipt back to the office to get a refund. So you think of whatever materials you need, markers, erasers, pins, a lot of stuff, you know, stapler, whatever you need, A4 papers, flashcards, whatever you need. Visit the stationaries within your city to buy the classroom supply that works best for you. And the final point is for you to plan your lesson plan. I wouldn't advise as a new teacher that you draw a lesson plan for the whole term or the whole school year, no. Since you're new to the school and you're still trying to understand the system and your students as a whole, draw a lesson plan for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. This way you are able to go into your classroom, you make use of this lesson plan It's like a test. You're testing to know the levels that your students are at the moment and to understand their overall behavior and the system of the school. After 2 or 3 weeks, when you must have understood the whole system and you know the exact level where your students are, then you should be able to come up with a proper lesson plan that can serve you for the whole school term or the whole school year. Although some schools might force you to come up with a lesson plan before the start of the school year, but if you are doing that, make sure part of your lesson or the first session of your lesson runs for 2 weeks, which is like a test to understand your students, to know their level. This way you will have a better perspective on how to manage your classroom sessions. Please follow these 6 tips in order to get yourself ready for the new school year. Have fun while teaching in Thailand. I'll see you in my next video. Take care. Ciao.